Good afternoon, Dr. Alexandra, and thank you so much for sparing your valuable time to come to SRM, interact with all of us and students. You define the term accomplished researcher, and we are privileged to have you amongst us. And what we just want to ask very simple questions, which would actually be a huge game changer for young PIs and researchers. I know you are young, but still, the researchers in advanced settings and also structured research ecosystems is definitely of different order.
What would be a game changer for them?
Yes. So, what is the kind of, how do you think, what were the significant challenges you have faced in your research and how did you overcome them? Very simple. It can be like from funding perspective, it can be from research and how you change lines and are able to circumvent over the problem involved.
I think there are two kinds of researchers. One are really, let's say, in a certain way competitive. So for me, I think the biggest challenge was that I'm generally liking a lot of different things. I also a very emotional person, so I'm very attached to my family. And this combining this research, which is quite challenging by itself, like combining research with my family life, that was always a bit difficult. And to all the women out there, forget about equal opportunity, just accept that it will always be difficult and you will be very happy in your life. Find the right people for support. Like I did, I am in a fantastic institute and that's why I stay there actually for exactly like this.
Wonderful. So you mentioned a very important component which actually plays a very stellar role in every lady's life. That is the family, the people who matter, the people who provide you the stability to take the world at large by challenge. How much do you think that stability, emotional stability, contributes to you taking larger than life problems like protein homeostasis, going into intricacies of ubiquitin things? How do you think that part of it? Because being a lady, you are representing a role model for the young female researchers and also students that they would aspire to be like you. And this is something none of the speakers earlier, most of them are males, have touched. So we would like to have that perspective that it will make a huge difference. Your simple advice.
So I'm a mother of 3. I very consciously decided for having them, even though it's very difficult because the start of your career and the time when you have kids usually fall exactly together. And for me, it was always like this, they compensated the challenges. So whenever I had issues actually in the lab, kind of my family kind of stabilized me. Whenever there were challenges in the family, I went back to work and it was wonderful to have just something pragmatic, logical to concentrate on. So I think it's actually a very nice combination. And I think for junior groups, it's sometimes like they're afraid of taking women in because they might be afraid that they will drop out over the time. I have actually seen so many women getting children being super, super efficient. So I think, yes, it's true. Sometimes it's easier to have it in a large lab. However, I think this diversity actually you get with people thinking actually like a mother helps you a lot to for the lab environment. Because if you only have, people running to the front, not looking left and right, your lab will crash. You need to have this glue, and this glue is usually provided by women more than men.
Let me compliment you that being a woman and more importantly being a mother means you've got to be efficient with your time management, and also the chores which you manage within 24 hours, which with adequate support from family and also colleagues at the lab. Those are really wonderful things which actually help you to overcome the primary challenges. Okay. Simple question. What is one big change do you think which will happen in 10 years, next 10 years?
In the next 10 years. So I think data is growing a lot. I think we need to make things simple again. or keeping both, like on one hand having this large data, but also be able to look at simple things like mechanistically, like baby reduced even a setting, specifically in the biology, like cell biology that I'm working in, the basic research. I think it's important that we still are able to concentrate on some small mechanisms without always the need, to have the full-blown study. It just makes studies big, it makes research slow, because you need to do all these things, you need to collaborate, you cannot have like some parts. So I think this is one challenge, that we need to be able to combine both this availability of all these large, huge data sets, and also actually to create huge data sets rather easily, while really looking at the mechanistic sides and keep it simple. So I think that's a big challenge.
What would be your parting advice for SRM students to enhance their research output?
A really good scientific environment is important, so networking. Maybe specifically coming from India, I would also said this to students at the poster session. I'm here, it's still very formal, even though I already gave you compliments about like the progression in the SRM. So I think the best labs in the world, they will treat you as equals, no matter if you're now a bachelor student, master student, PhD student, postdoc, or junior PI. So if you are going to a lab where your PI is not treating you equal, you're not at the right place. You're as good as them, you're just not yet as best. So keep that in mind, find something where you can prosper, and you will see that the best institutes, they have the best techniques, they usually have the best networks, and without collaborations, we are very isolated. So look for that environment.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time and patience.